One percenters, welcome back. Coach Simon here to show you another workout that I do. And the point of today's video is to show you what are the staples of the workout. What are some side things you should do or accessory work, and what are just like periphery, creative things that you should just sprinkle in every now and then. So to think of it like in food, you want your entree, you want your side dishes, and you want your dessert. So here I'm doing some quarter squats or quarter deadlifts with a trap bar. I just have the trap bar resting on some hinges there, or some handles, and exploding for a quarter squat or quarter deadlift. That's kind of like the optimal power position for you, especially if you're a jumper or a jump shooter. You don't really do a full bend like a squat like a bodybuilder or in rehab or anything like that. So you can build a lot more power by only doing a partial deadlift or partial squat like this. So once I kind of got comfortable with the setup, I added a little bit more weight, and then I added a little bit more speed. So all you got to do is just bend down pretty naturally in a good position, and then just explode up all the way up using your calves. It's basically like jumping with 200 pounds of weight, but you're only bending a little bit of the way, and then the handles provide some safety so it bounces off the bottom. Here's the exact same weight, but on the floor, resting on the floor with a trap bar deadlift. So I can lift the same weight off of the floor as I can with a quarter squat. The quarter squat, you can lift a lot heavier, or I can lift a lot heavier, but you're always going to sacrifice speed for weight. So if I add more weight, I'm going to be sacrificing explosion speed. And since those quarter deadlifts are really meant to build explosive power in a short time frame, I didn't want to load it too heavy to make me slow down too much. Here's a uneven loaded step up using a kettlebell and just stepping onto a box. It's about 24 inches. And this one I'm going a little bit slower to build range of motion and just stability on one leg. I do this not so often because I'm lazy to get the box out and stuff like that. I'll just do a bunch of lunges basically because I'm lazy. I don't want to set up the box. The box is usually somewhere else, and I usually have weights on it and stuff like that. And sometimes I just felt like going up today, so instead of doing lunges, regular lunges or deficit lunges or something like that, I decided to go up. Slightly different than a lunge, but not too big a difference. So if you're doing lunge, very, very similar. Here I'm trying some pogos. Not very good ones because I'm tired. Pogos really work your tendons and elasticity versus any kind of strength power. So the idea here is to just slap the floor with the balls of your feet, jumping without bending your knees. I'll add that in when I'm tired to build elasticity and kind of to stay active. Since we're in quarantine, I haven't been playing any basketball at all. Been doing very, very little running, just a lot of weightlifting. So I feel myself bulking up and getting a little bit heavier. Definitely not as light on my feet as I used to be, but every now and then I'll sprinkle these in. So these are A-skips, just banded A-skips, holding those two bands for a little pressure, and then just some hops to get my heart rate going, basically like a jump rope with a little bit of speed added from the bands. I'll mix that in every now and then. Another staple that you can sprinkle in, you don't need any equipment. I make some of my players do this once they've gotten to a certain level of understanding their body. This is an isometric wall push, pushing against the wall with one leg. And I'm really focusing on the angle my shin is pushing, remaining high on the balls of my feet, not letting my heels touch the floor, and just, basically trying to move an immovable object or something really, really heavy, like you're trying to push against your big brother or some big old fat guy. Push against the wall as much as you can using the balls of your feet, bending your knee, and then really trying to lower that shin angle so you get a good push. From the backside, it's a little bit easier to see. Now, this is really, really important in terms of doing splits and drops. So when you drop and get into your split stance, you'll notice if your leg shoots back far enough when you do that negative step and you have a low shin angle like this, then you'll be able to explode really, really well just off of technique. Now, I'm old and I can't hang with all these younger guys anymore, but I have a decent first step. So in basketball, that first step is everything, and then if you can decelerate and change directions and all that, then you should be good, as long as the game isn't up and down full court game. So first step is very, very important, especially if you're older. But if you're young and you want to explode past anybody, I make all my players kind of do things like this to build up their first step once they've have the ability to stop and decelerate. Next one is a soleus wall sit. Basketball players are used to wall sits, but they're not used to this calf raise or the lower calf raise, your soleus. So just sit in a wall sit, your thighs will burn a little bit, and then you just go up and down on your heels, and you're really focusing on that lower part of your calf to help protect your Achilles and your lower leg. I'll superset that or combine that right with a wall tibs or just lifting up your shins. So now you're working the front part of your foot, which helps a lot in braking and stopping and planting. So don't neglect this, especially if you have pains in the front or shin splints developing. As I get tired in my workout, that's kind of where I start doing creative stuff if I have energy. You start thinking outside of the box and try to create different things and see what works. The only way you're going to be able to think differently, you can see I dropped the weight, I almost killed myself there, I almost broke my toe because I'm tired. Been working out, doing 3 to 4 sets of every exercise that you guys have seen, just don't record it all. This is uneven loading. It's kind of weird jumping with one weight on the side. I've never done it before. It's only 10 pounds, but it feels really, really strange. I'm not sure if I would ever do it again. It's okay. I'm not sure how much this transfers, but I'm always testing myself, testing my body, seeing if it can learn new tricks, be more athletic, and challenge my body in certain ways, challenge my mind to see if I can develop new exercises or techniques that will help develop players as athletes, and not just basketball athletes, it's any athletes. So after lifting heavy and taking on lots of load, you can mix it up with band work, which is a little bit lighter and provides resistance, but in terms of speed, and it's a little bit smoother and not as bulky. So I'll wrap this around my shoulder and then I'll spin around. And this is great for core work. So I'm doing it, imagine you're jabbing or making a body jab or some type of moves like that. I'm looking for something heavy, something about the size of a basketball. This is a little medicine ball. And as I begin to twist, you want to rotate your hips, knees, shoulders, and everything to really get the effect of your core having to shift and move. So as soon as I get this band off me and put a 1 pound ball versus a 6 or 8 pound ball here, my jabs and my fakes will be that much more effective because my body is already primed for these certain type of movements. So it's pretty easy. Wrap it around your back, get a long rubber band, plyo bands. I'm using a set of 3 and then I attach them to something heavy. I go side to side, over my head, side jabs. I'll do some sweeps and kind of basketball related things. So I'll have this set up and I'll tie it to our gym's bleachers, or I'll have one kid hold and anchor it. So you don't need to anchor it to anything. If I'm training players outside, any pole will work, any fence will work. And the further you step away from the band, the harder it can get. So it's very easy to switch between players if you're a coach training a bunch of players. So I'll have kids pair up in 2s or 3s, and then one will be doing the exercise and the other one will be holding, and then the other one will be resting. So you just run them in circuits, give them 20 reps or so, 20 to 30 seconds, and then they just go crazy, mimicking any kind of movements that they would do to protect a ball in some kind of triple threat position, moving the ball side to side, shoulders, elbows, above, down low, all that stuff, while maintaining their balance. The band will pull and rotate you away. So I don't know if I'm making it look easy, but this is definitely not an easy exercise. It pulls and tugs you in all different kinds of ways that you're not used to, and it's very, very tiring. So 20 to 30 seconds or 20 to 30 reps in rapid succession is very tough. After that, I don't know why, but I got a little bit more energy or so. I'm just kind of filming this in a sequence. I took the trap bar off of the hip rails there, and I was like, oh, I can set this up to do some split squats because I feel like I needed to pump up my legs a little bit more, get a little bit more work, or I don't know why. I had more energy and I was like, oh, this is a new way to set it up. It seems a little easy, it's convenient. So I threw that foam roller on there and then put a box down and started doing some jumping split squats. This is a staple once you develop the strength where you can do 10 or 20 in a row, then you can obviously start to explode and jump. So those are kind of easy. These things used to be super hard. I used to hate these. So they're getting easy. So I started, adding weights, and here I am just, again, off center with one, just using it on the strong side leg. So I don't know, I think that's 10 or 8 pounds only. Just throw your leg up, begin exploding. It's a little dangerous to explode fully. So this is more of a strength, or kind of like a 70% explosion. It's really focusing on landing. So I don't have any problems landing with my ankles or my joints or anything like that. Yeah, so those are the single leg split squat jumps. I just ordered another kettlebell, and while I was waiting, I have 2 kettlebells. I think one is 25 and one is 35 pounds. Again, I'm working with the uneven type loading. This thing, it's a little dangerous. I almost banged my knee a couple times. I don't know if I would recommend it. Maybe if you're an elite or athlete that's been working out a lot, it's kind of tricky. 35 in one hand and 25 in another, swinging between and around your legs, controlling rotation, being careful with your spine. Not sure if I would recommend this for beginners, but if you're going to do the single, it's good. This is very, very hard. It was hard for me. I was already breathing heavy. It's at the end of my workout, and when you're tired, that's typically when you're going to get hurt or injured or do something stupid. But every now and then, you got to do one more. And so I was just filming, and it wasn't too bad when you're in it. But now that I'm like looking back and recording and doing this voiceover, I probably could have already stopped, and that's probably why I was sore for a little longer than normal. When you have more energy than most days, and you're going and your whole body's sweating, just go for it. Kind of push it a little bit, test yourself. Be sure that you don't go so crazy where you can't move the next day, because remember, adaptations come from the stress, but strength comes from the repair. 1%ers, thanks if you guys made it this far in the video. Remember to be able to distinguish between what is like an entree, a side dish, and a dessert when it comes to working out. Your entrees are like your lunges, your split squats, your trap bar deadlifts, step ups. These are things that you can do in almost every leg workout that you do. Your side dishes and things like that would be the plyometrics, the band work, the rotational work. These are things that you should be adding in all the time, but you shouldn't be doing them in the frequency that you're doing the entree stuff. And then your dessert things are those excessive or extra things that you don't really need. You shouldn't be doing them all the time. If you go to a regular gym, you don't need to be hitting leg extensions and leg curls and calf raises all the time. If you're doing the bigger stuff like the split squat jumps or squats, deadlifts, those things like that, those little fine-tuned accessory work will kind of take care of themselves, unless you have like a particular injury or prehab or rehab thing that you have to recover from. So hopefully this all makes sense. Make sure you guys can distinguish between the stuff that you should be doing all the time, some of the time, and then very few of the time. This is a principle. I use it when I'm training players, not just for fitness and athletics, but also when it comes to basketball. So this is similar to when I say a shot or a skill is cash, splash, or trash. So if you remember that one, this is the same principle, just applied to working out and becoming a better athlete. All right, guys, until next time, take 14 minutes, 24 seconds, or 1% of your day to get better. Peace.